South Africa has been in a state of shock following the ratings downgrade. That's all we've been talking about for the last week or 2 weeks. But is it really a shock? Because economists, analysts, and South Africans have been talking about the possible downgrade, and ratings agencies have warned about a possible downgrade for nearly 2 years now. Would it be fair to say that the cabinet reshuffle was the tipping point?
Yeah, I think it would be, because essentially what the president did with the firing of Minister Gordhan, I think, and that's the main point. We do know other ministers also lost their jobs, but what you do with that is you essentially fire your economic policy. And investors then are sort of uncertain, the reasons behind it seem nefarious. So that just, it creates a lot of investor uncertainty. So it's definite to say that was the tipping point, because now ratings agencies don't quite know where you're going, even though you've said you're going to continue on with the macroeconomic policies you have. There's no proof of this, because you've suddenly changed the person who had made guarantees to these people to start off with. Because it was Minister Gordhan who had gone to the ratings agencies, who had gone to investors and tried to convince them not to downgrade South Africa, to keep investing in South Africa. And now that that person is gone, you are not sure what you're going to deal with.
The president says he's allowed to hire and fire ministers. So what does it really mean politically, in the political space, the fact that he had called for this reshuffle of positions? According to him, he did nothing wrong. He has that authority to hire and fire ministers.
He does. It's just the timing of it seems unbelievably strange. Again, it speaks to sort of nefarious purpose, that you want a nuclear deal to go through perhaps, and you have a finance minister who's not complying, or you want ratings hikes for other parts of the government, or you want certain things to go through and you have ministers who aren't compliant. Because if the president had done this with, for instance, the social welfare minister, where there was a lack of performance, and you get rid of that minister, that makes sense. However, to get rid of a minister who everybody agrees is doing their job and doing their job well, speaks to nefarious intent.
Certainly, there was an attempt made last year as well to get rid of the finance minister, and that backfired. So it does come across as if he was targeting the finance minister in particular for whatever reason. Let's move on. Apart from the political move by the president, the ratings agencies also cited other concerns. That is a poor growth outlook for the South African economy. They mentioned the need to address structural challenges in the economy. What, to your knowledge and from the research work done by the IRR, are those structural challenges that needs to be addressed?
The biggest challenge we have is a lack of growth, and that's linked to poor education. The sort of primary link is poor education, because then you can't take advantage of the high growth sectors in the economy, which for us would be, there would be sort of service businesses, and that needs people with education. The science and technology side, those need a higher level of education. We also don't have the advantage of a commodity boom, so we can't even make use of the commodities that we have, and even if that were the case, those only go so far. So those are the real challenges we have, is that we don't actually have the means to make our economy grow. So we've sort of got stuck in this stagnating economy that at best you could hope is going to grow by 0.1%, which is essentially nothing.
Is it realistic to say that the economy would start bleeding jobs soon following this new junk status?
It is, because what we have is you're going to start having investor money move out of the country. That is unavoidable, because what happens when a country gets downgraded to junk status, certain large investment bonds or companies can no longer invest in you. So they're talking about pulling about 600 billion rand out of the stock exchange, because they will be forced to sell off South African bonds. The rules and regulations they comply with say that they can't be invested in anything that's junk status.
So inevitably there will be layoffs.
Yeah. It's the removing of money from the economy. There's no way, just based on the rules and regulations, that stays.